Okay, welcome back for the afternoon newscast. Can't get away from the border crisis, can we? Watching Fox News, this Mayorkas, he's blaming Trump for the surge in the migrants on the southern border, blaming Trump and Trump's administration for their policy dismantling the apparatus that was in place to process people through the southern border. And all that. So that's this Mayorkas guy. He's like a senator or whatever. I don't know. It's just a mess. It's a neck and neck race between the vaccines and the virus. This is pretty big news. Yeah, the vaccines and the virus, and they're both just fighting. We gotta see where this ends up. It could be a showstopper. Could be more complications due to the variants, because the variants are surging through the United States. That's why you don't want to bring in the virus from other countries. But we're not going to get into that. We're just going to go ahead with the rest of this. Trump is creating his own social media. In the next couple of months, we're going to see this go live. It's going to be Trump's own social media network. Let's do this. It's going to be kind of cool. You know what? I've been kicked in the teeth by YouTube. Haven't really been monitored by Facebook, but I think they're actually not showing many of my posts because they want to get their money or the affiliation with the media they don't like. And I won't get into that, but it's going to be kind of cool. I'd like to see where that goes. Back to Mayorkas, who insists the southern border is closed to migrants, even though the administration is basically accepting migrant children, unaccompanied adults. I just watched a video on some people drowning in the Rio Grande River. South Central America is finally kind of stepping up, saying this isn't right. This isn't right. Human cost. So I guess the borders and customs and the U.S. immigration system is going to be making some footage of these holding facilities for migrant children that are being held. So they're going to make footage very soon, so we get to see what's happening in these facilities that's being set up to house this massive influx. So they're again blaming Trump, but they're always referring to the COVID outbreak. Can't get people down there, can't have media down there because of COVID. But what's stated, on Fox News is there's a possibility that they're not even following the COVID guidelines down there. So during this crisis, so we'll have to stay tuned to see more of that. Was also mentioned that we're going to see possibly as many migrants hitting our southern border as we've seen in the past 20 years. If we keep on track with this current amount of immigration, illegal immigration and asylum seekers they're crashing into the southern border. 2 more Proud Boys were indicted on the Capitol riot. Yeah, so 2 more Proud Boys being indicted. Going through all this, Matthew McConaughey is going to run for, he's confirming he's considering running for his political seat in his home state. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. More politicians more actors becoming politicians. That's what we need. We need more actors in our political landscape. Let's not have free and open politics, and we want to have people that probably a little more understanding of the process. So when I go through this, I just see like Operation Warp Speed, 90% of Biden's vaccine rollout plan was the same as Trump's. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I don't really see much going on. Oh yeah, they're declaring a state of emergency due to the spring breakers, shooting with pepper balls. They're not social distancing. Yeah, I imagine they went down there to keep 6 to 3 feet now, which is being touted as the new norm. You could do now 3 feet distancing in schools. Before it was 6 feet, and I imagine spring breakers are woohooing it up, with their masks on and 6 feet away from everybody. That's not going to happen. So it's a crisis on the spring break health emergency. Yeah, so that's pretty funny. That's just crazy. Going through all this is kind of stupid. Yeah, Trump-backed widow of I guess Republican-elect claims victory in the House race. So I guess her husband had died, and she went and ran, and now she's filling that seat apparently. Kind of cool, I guess. I don't know. They're just, if you look at the news, you just gotta go, okay, report the news. Cam, report the news. It's driving me crazy, guys. Just driving me just insane. I just can't really. I mean, I can. It's just I've spent 2 days in my basement in my newsroom trying to report the news, and I either get really upset over what's happening on the border and what's happening to the human beings that are being funneled up here, and and then the economy, and I'd like to report on the current state of the economy with well, I don't know how many million, 11% of people are unemployed throughout the country, and the massive money that's just going every direction, and the housing crisis. Holy cow, the renters crisis. It's just, there's so much to report on. The doom and gloom, I don't see any kind of a future at $400,000 to $500,000 for an average home. I don't care if it's 1-2%. It's that's free money passed out to people. But what about when the economy crashes? Which is a huge possibility, because Warren Buffett is sucking up $26 billion since January in his endeavors on a drunken, stimulus drunk stock market. Dow Jones, NASDAQ is just drunk with the trillions of dollars being just shoved every direction, and these fake economies and fake incomes of all of us is receiving these checks, stimulus checks, and then you're getting federal unemployment and federal this and it's just not, it's not going to be a very good economic landscape by July. I suspect by July, if they don't pass another $1 trillion to feed the monster, we're going to see the monster raise its ugly head, and it's going to be mad, and it's going to get worse. It's going to want revenge, because the stimulus money that keeps going. But remember, that money is out there, that fake money's out there, so it's going somewhere. This could be the holy grail to the debt bubble that's been going on, the everything bubble that's been going on for the past few years. It's literally just an everything bubble. We had 2008 crisis, 2009 was just a housing crisis. It was a housing bubble. It was nothing compared to what's happening now. Not even remotely close to what's happening now. Now we have an everything bubble. You try to buy a camp trailer, that it's half gutted, they want $5,000. This is ridiculous. A ridiculous amount of money, because there's been so much money pumped in the economy. And these people that normally wouldn't qualify for unemployment anymore would have to go get the $9 or $10 an hour jobs they can't live off of. It's just, unless you have children and you're subsidized as a worker, you're not going to be able to hire people for $9-10 when rent is $1,200. A single bedroom, you can rent a bedroom for somebody for $500 a month, just a bedroom. That's the average here in southern Utah. That's just a place to put a roof over your head, $500. So you have to have the jobs that pay more, and the population is depressed. We've been through a year of this COVID-19 insanity, and it's going to take us years to crawl out of this mess. So, my opinion on this whole subject is, do not buy a house right now. I mean, if you have to get a house because you have to get a roof over your head, that's what you have to do, because rent is just grossly exaggerated, and there's massive profiteering going on with rental properties and with home sales. It's just sheer ass profiteering. It's that you can't label it anything else. It's just another facet to the dismantling of America, just to make massive profits off a massive subsidy provided by the federal government. They've injected trillions of dollars and thrown in every direction. That's not capitalism. That's just basically fake money being thrown in every direction, and there's massive different groups that are making massive profits, especially on NASDAQ and the Dow, and these investors are like, whoa, we're making more profits than we ever. Well, yeah, there's more fish in the pond. you're going to make more, you're going to catch more fish, more. That's just the law of averages. But when the reality stops and all this this game ends of drunken, investors and hedge funds that are used to just sopping up just mass amounts of money being thrown in every direction. When that dries up, they're not going to settle for, okay, well, the money just quit coming in. The economy actually has to run on itself, and the debt is gargantuan, and we're not able to produce, or you're not being given stimulus checks, which is just going right back into their pockets, because you can't just take that money and unless you invest it, but then again they'll just wipe you off of your investment by just dropping the stock $2 or $3 or 2 or 3%, and then you sell because you get nervous. Well, they just sop it up for a less discounted price, and then that's how that works. So not to mention the fuel prices, food prices, everything's going up. I mean, nothing is going to go back down after this massive injection of fiat currency and this gigantic American welfare plan that's been implemented. So this goes back to 1 year ago. 1 year this has all happened, and paycheck protection programs and everything else has kept this country afloat, with jobs being really shut down. And you got to remember, this is the service industry. A lot of these people are hotel industry. They're not really making much money as far as a wage. They have to be subsidized in a lot of senses prior to this to make a living, because everything's just gotten so expensive. It should never be like that. The American economy should not have got to the point where you can't work a job and just afford to live. That's not how it should work. And then have to be subsidized as a grant, or everything else, welfare, Medicaid, all that stuff there. That should only be implemented during times of distress, or when things get out of control. But the price of goods and services is what's too high. The price of housing is too high. Power, utilities is too high. The price of the average, transportation is too high. Everything's too high. Groceries, too high. You should be making $30 an hour just to compete in that world, especially with everything now. So anyway, hope you guys have a great day. That's the afternoon update. Gonna move right along, get out of this, and hopefully get some Utah news going by tonight. Thanks for watching 45 News Utah. Hope you guys have a great night, great afternoon, and I'll talk to you later.